Let us pray. Almighty God, who in wisdom and goodness has appointed the office of rulers and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we ask you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen.
General business, communication from the chair.
Good afternoon, honourable members, and welcome to the House. As of now, I don't have any communications to make. Thank you.
General business, item 2B, presentation of the PSC report. The honourable member for Karonga Town to present a report of the Parliamentary Service Commission for the 2024-2025 financial year.
Honourable member for Karonga Town, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, Honourable First Deputy Speaker and all honourable members. I wish to present papers standing in my name under item 2B on today's order paper. Thank you.
Sergeant Adams, Honourable Commissioner, keep rising for the Sergeant Adams. Switch off your microphone for now. Thank you. Honourable Commissioner, do you want to speak to your report?
First Deputy Speaker, no, I will not speak to the report, but I beg to move that I lay the report at the table. May I also take this opportunity to request all honourable members in this August House to go through the report page by page and appreciate the work that their commission undertook under the period which is being reviewed. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I also thank you for actually giving me the opportunity to table this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, the report has been laid on the table from our commission. It is for us for noting. I therefore will not be referring the report to any specific committee. It has been referred to the whole House. Honourable members, take your time to have a look at this report. Thank you.
Item 3, government business, budget motion. Responses guided by Standing Order 190.
Thank you. Honourable members, we go to the motion on the as delivered by the Honourable Minister of Finance ably responded to by the opposition spokespersons and started debated by the House. As of now, we are still remaining with the chairpersons of cluster committees that are ready to take to the floor. Any chairperson that is ready for now? No chairperson ready. I will recognize honour members for general debate. I recognize the honourable member, so we'll just go from, what constituency is that, sir?
Rongento.
Lilongwe Central, Katab Chinteche, and in Katab Pamba. For now, I'll recognize those three, and then I'll go to the three in the government side. Thank you.
Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir. First of all, I would like to bring you greetings from Senior Chief Salango and the Senior Chief Kalumba, from who are the landlords of Rongento constituency, where I come from. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, when the budget statement was delivered by the Minister of Finance, I took time to consult the said chiefs, Senior Chief Sabango as well as Senior Chief Kalumba, for their reaction to the same. And the address that I'm going to give in this House is a reflection of the discussion that I had with the senior chiefs and their people. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the theme for the budget statement that was delivered was driving economic recovery and sustained growth through impactful reform and fiscal consolidation. This theme, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, speaks to the moment that we find ourselves in as a nation. Our economy is no doubt needs recovery, and indeed that subsequent to the said budget estimates which were laid in this House is going to proceed to deliver an appropriation act which I reckon is going to engineer people's lives. And as we debate this statement, there's one question which looms large, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, is whether we are allocating money correctly as the nation. The budget is not going to transform this country by their size. Purchase of maize, this is commendable, but the people of Rongento Central constituency would like to invite the government to invest more into agriculture. So, for example, we say we are an agriculture country, but up to now we've got one farming cycle. Our agriculture is rain fed, as all of us are aware, and it is our hope that if the government would allocate more resources to irrigation and mechanization, the hardworking farmers of this country, including those of Undonde village and the Chalendoa villages in my constituency, are going to
consider winding up.
See the potential of this program.
Consider winding up.
Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the people of Rongento Central constituency are in support of this budget, but would like to invite the government to put more resources into investments rather than into consumption areas that the government is implementing. Thank you very much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Katab Chinteche.
Thank you very much, First Deputy Speaker, for giving Katab Chinteche to comment on the budget. But before I do so, First Deputy Speaker, let me say this, that Katab Chinteche has confidence in this government. First Deputy Speaker, I'm aware that one swallow does not mean that summer is here. But this government has shown us enough swallows to show that we will have summer in this country. First Deputy Speaker, the increase in the number of beneficiaries of FISIP from 528,000 to 1.1 million households is another swallow that shows that we will have summer in this country. First Deputy Speaker, the reduction in the waiting period for pensions and gratuities is another swallow that tells you that summer is here. Because pensioners have been suffering in this country. First Deputy Speaker, the resuscitation of automatic pricing mechanism of fuel is yet another swallow that shows that summer will be here. Because we are developing into artists in the way of buying fuel. You don't need to be an artist to buy fuel. Buying fuel should be an ordinary thing. Fuel should be available in filling stations all the time. First Deputy Speaker, the easing of food inflation is yet another swallow that tells you that summer is here. First Deputy Speaker, the strong rebound in revenue performance is yet another swallow that tells you that summer will be here. The slight drop in fiscal deficit is yet another swallow to show that summer is here. First Deputy Speaker, the decrease in maize price is yet another swallow that tells you that summer will be here. First Deputy Speaker, swallow will be here. First Deputy Speaker, what do I mean that summer will be here? It means that Malawians are looking for better life ahead. First Deputy Speaker, First Deputy Speaker, when summer is approaching, when summer is approaching, you see so many swallows. That is an indication that we are moving from one season to the next. That's what it means that summer is here. First Deputy Speaker, the people of Katab Pamba sent me, one of them sent me a text. He was saying that government is stealing from them through taxes. So my reply to him, I asked him a question. Do you go to hospital? He said yes. Then I said that then government is a good thief because it steals from you through tax and gives back to you through medicine. I asked them, have you at one point received a bag of fertilizer and maize seeds? He said yes. Then I said government must be a good thief because it steals from you in the morning and gives back to you through FISIP. I asked him, do you have a daughter or a son that is going to primary school, secondary school? He said yes. Then I said government must be a good thief because it steals from you as taxes and gives back to you through primary education.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
I asked him again.
Point of order.
Number first, switch off your microphone. That authority of granting this point of orders, unfortunately, only resides with me. And I can choose who to give. So, honor members, I've seen you. I'll recognize honor member from Nchinji. Honor Bokasina, please take your seat. Nchinji, you can have a point of order. Honor member for Jinteje, please resume your seat.
Thank you, First Deputy Speaker, sir, for recognizing the people of Nchinji Northeast constituency. First Deputy, is it in order for the member who has just resumed his seat to be addressing this side instead of addressing you? Is it in order? Huh? Is it in order, First Deputy Speaker, sir, to come in this house and start accusing the government side that it is a thief? Is it in order? Is it unparliamentary? Is it parliamentary?
Thank you, Honour Member.
Calling the government thief.
Your point, Honour Member, your point has been taken. I know you're trying to express. I hope the people that voted for you have seen you standing, and they're able to compare what content you are bringing to the House. And if that's the content you are bringing this afternoon, the chair seated here is not amused, because the honourable member, every time every member stands, they address me. And these microphones are connected to me the same way you were facing the government side, but you were communicating to me. So I would like to rule you out of order. Point of order. The last point of order on this submission from Kota Central.
I raise point of orders on very serious issues. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to be guided by your office whether it is in order for this House to continue discussing the budget, making contributions thereto, which budget contains CDF, and whose guidelines we have not been shared with. Because the next step is for us to pass this budget. But there is a standing promise. There is a standing promise from the responsible ministry that guidelines of CDF would be provided to us at least before we pass the budget. But I have noted that no one seems to take that seriously. If we are passing this budget, what is our involvement in the CDF which is contained in the budget? So I would like to be guided by your House if it is in order for us to...
Thank you. Honour Member, thank you. Please resume your seat.
Thank you.
Switch off your microphone. Honour Member, you are raising a very pertinent issue, but raising it on Nkatabe Chinteche, because the point of orders at every particular time should be addressed to the speech that is being made on the floor. But what you are raising is a very pertinent issue, and just to help you, that today we are not passing the budget. We will be deliberating the budget, but we have taken note of your point of order, and I would like to rule that government provide those guidelines before we pass the appropriation bill end of this month, so that we are aware what is happening with those guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, First Deputy Speaker. First Deputy Speaker, the interjection from a member of Muchinji reminds me of what I faced at one point when I went to Assembly. The councillors had ganged up against members of Parliament, so I simply said, and then they were asking, they had some issues that have to be brought to Parliament for members of Parliament to discuss. Then I told them that, remember, a cat can never win a case in a court of dogs. Then I immediately went out. Behind me, they said I had called them cats. And a fellow member of Parliament apologized on my behalf. I went back and said that I withdraw apology. I never apologized for this statement. It was a level of understanding, First Deputy Speaker. First Deputy Speaker, finally to my constituent who called government a thief, I asked him, are you one of those expecting electricity at your house that you told me I should rectify? He said yes. Then I told him government must be a good thief, because they will give us money, they will collect from you and give back in form of CDF, which I will use to rectify the area you are staying in. First Deputy Speaker, the one issue that is worrying people from Katabe, as communicated to me, is the issue of tax. As I said, they believe that government is squeezing them at every corner. So our suggestion when we were discussing was that it's like sometimes maybe the Minister of Finance is behaving like a fisherman who has got a fishing gear with big mesh, so that not all fish is being caught. Now, instead of reducing the mesh, the size of the mesh, is buying another fishing gear. So what government needs to do is maybe to tighten the existing measures of tax, so that at least those who are evading tax should be able to pay tax, rather than increasing too many measures that will impoverish Malawians. We need to tighten the already existing measures of collecting taxes. First, Deputy Speaker, as a member of a cluster of education and someone who has sat in so many prestigious classrooms, I would want to talk on education, especially that my beloved brother, Minister of Education, one of the politicians I like that side, is here, somebody can hear me. Through you, First Deputy Speaker, our institutes of higher learning have got serious problems. Of course, they're always asking for more money as well. Rightly so, in our clusters, we are all behaving like Father Christmas, dishing out. The Minister of Finance should give more, Minister of Finance should give more when he has little to give. These universities have got many problems. Not enough ORT, not able to pay pensions, not able to pay service providers, projects that have stalled, high vacancy rates, high student lecture ratio. They can't conduct research, and these are universities supposed to be teaching universities, but due to limited funds, they are not able to conduct meaningful research. And universities are also asked to increase intake to education, higher education. They should increase intake, but resources are limited. Now, the result of that will be substandard education instead of what we want to achieve as a country, looking at Malawi 2063. What I would say that universities, they are standing in potable water, and yet they are thirsty. They are asking government to give them water to drink. First, Deputy Speaker, there are solutions to this. I remember the Honorable Minister of Finance talked about paying cost-reflective fees. But what is happening? That is not happening yet, because when we met them, they were not able to show us that they will be collecting revenue through that. It's like they have been tied, they have had their hands tied at the back, and they are supposed to face a fight. I'm not an advocate that students should drop out of school because of fees. What Katab Pamba is suggesting is that maybe the loans board should be given enough money to pay for the poor, while those who can afford should pay at least something meaningful that will keep them in college for the whole year. How are private investors able to survive and public investors are not able to survive without government subvention? Once we free investors from the national kitty, it means service delivery for government to do other equally important things. Government will be able to have a breathing space. So, Honorable Minister, through you, First Deputy Speaker, make it a point. This government has goodwill. Make tough decisions. Good leaders make tough decisions that may be painful at the beginning, but that are beneficial in the end of the day. So therefore, the issue of education should be looked at critically. Others have already talked about issues of the North. It wouldn't do any harm if I also repeat. We always talk about Luntha. That is a national road. It may be seen like this way, a northern region road, but when we talk about tourism, we should be talking about roads like those, because we're talking about tourism. The M5 or M1 to Karonga, to the border, we need that road, because I mean, it's not a northern region road, it's a national road. And of course, M5 going this Nkota up to Nkatabe. You know, these days I always pass through Mzimba because the road is bad. So I'm comforted that the Minister of Works said that there are contractors that will handle the M5 road. We have got so many narrow bridges up to Chinteche, but we need that road done. Honorable First Deputy Speaker, the other day I traveled with a foreigner, a friend of mine, who were going to Nkatabe. So I told him we will pass through the city of Mzuzu. Afterward, going through Mzuzu, we passed Mzuzu, He asked me a question, when are we going to arrive in the city of Mzuzu? I said, we just passed the city of Mzuzu. First Deputy Speaker, in all fairness, Mzuzu does not qualify to be a city at the moment. Yes, I'm comforted by the fact that sometimes you can have a name of a child before the child is born. So it means we have the status of the city before we get the city. Now what we're crying for is to have Mzuzu as a city. Give us the airport, we want things that will make Mzuzu a city. Plus, of course, plus many other infrastructures. I know it's not a northern thing, it's a national thing. And also my appeal to my brothers from the north, we should not only be appealing for development from the north at a regional level, we should also be looking at district balance. The north is not only 2 districts, because sometimes we make that mistake. But there are also other districts. So when we are talking about development, we should be equally talking about, we should not be seen to be advocating for. We should not be seen advocating for a region and not for looking for equal shares for every district, because that's what it should be for development. You remember, yes, Rikoma is also a district. Well, there has been a cry for a ship in the lake of Rikoma. Currently, as somebody from the lake, I'm scared. I cannot travel in a Ilala because I know that it's very dangerous. But we need a better ship. I know commitments have been made that we'll have a ship.
Consider winding up. Consider winding
Finally,
up.
Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I'm asking for, when they're finishing the houses, Minister of Housing, we have got houses that stored at Chinteje Police. When funds are available, please remember us so that those ones are finished. The road at Chinteje, which is M5, I already talked about, the Minister of Works said that we should not use CDF, but government will take care of the repair of the road. Chinteje Police also have already said we need, Minister of Homeland is not here. Chinteje Police, we need a police station, not a unit, because now Chinteje is big, it covers a large area for that. If the Minister of Health, a theater at Chinteje has stalled, we need that to be finished. But let me commend you, Minister of Health. The health center in Chibaiga is moving quite well. Thank you that you are working at a very good pace, and that one will be finished. With these words, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I invite you to Chinteje because fish now, I got a phone that big chambo is now being caught, so I invite you to come and eat the real chambo with good taste immediately from the lake into the pot, then into your mouth. That's when you taste good fish. With those words, First Deputy Speaker, I wholeheartedly support the budget.
Thank you. Invitation to Chinteje accepted. I will be coming to Chinteje. Honourable Member for Katab Pamba, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, First Deputy Speaker, sir, for recognizing people of Katab Pamba, people of Senior Chief Timbiri, people of GVH Malepa, that they can also contribute to the budget motion, which is on the floor. Our First Deputy Speaker, my contribution will cover 3 parts. The first part, I will summarize when I was coming here to Parliament, I went to different centers in my constituency. I was trying to get views from my people so that I get what they expect to see in the budget. So I went in different areas. So my presentation will just highlight 3 or 4, the messages from these people, and to link it if whatever they send me is in the budget. My second part of my contribution, the First Deputy Speaker, is to do with Agenda 2063, MIP1. We'll just be looking at different sectors, how the budget linked to these Agenda 2063, MIP1, and taking it down to my constituency, how is my constituency contributing to this Agenda 2063? My last part, First Deputy Speaker, I'll talk about mindset change. We know the budget has got both revenue side and expenditure side. On the expenditure side, I'll link the mindset change attached to systems and controls and to the revenue. We know that we are talking, if we are to implement this budget, we have to collect money. I'll just give an example. If I'm stopped today by a traffic police, immediately he will tell me that, no, your charge is 20,000 kwacha for overspeeding. Under mindset change, our first deputy speaker, the first thing which will come, will see, no, the 5,000 yoka. Why we come up with that? Because we have built a system which doesn't, is so much of shortcuts. Under mindset change and systems and revenue, my contribution, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I'll talk about creating system of revenue controls so that when a traffic policeman stops me, his camera should connect to either laws authority, Minister of Transport under Traffic Police. There is also COF. Whenever I'm renewing my COF, the system should be there. So if we're talking of collecting money to support our revenue, we need strong systems which can help us, other than building a system which creates shortcuts. You go to Lilongwe City Council now. I'm involved in property business. If I want to register my property so that I start paying ground rates or city rates, you find that properties in Area Wing, they're not in the system. Properties in Area 25, they're not in the system. But Lilongwe City Council wants to collect money to support our budget. So we need, under revenue section, to create systems which can help the government to collect money. That money will support the budget. On the same system, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, we are talking of Forex. We need to support entrepreneurs. I don't know how this can be done, but what I'm trying to say, I'll give two examples of entrepreneurs I admire. For example, Sparks System, when he started his company, he went to open a branch in Zambia, he went to open a branch in Rwanda. He started employing Malawians, sending them there. We need a system which can help our entrepreneurs. Let's send them in our neighboring countries. Let them create market for our products there. If we have a system, when we send our entrepreneurs well supported with the products, or they go there and create market for the products, when I harvest mpunga in my constituency, the rice, I'll be able to say, we have companies, our fellow people from Katab who are running their companies in South Africa. What I'll just do is, I'll process this mpunga rice and send it to them, because they'll be there creating market for us. By creating that market, which means we've created export for our products. So on the revenue side, Mr. Speaker, sir, what I'm contributing to the budget, we need to create systems which can support to collect revenue, which can support our budget estimates. I'll go to MIP1, Agenda 2063. I'll just focus on agriculture. You know, agriculture has been funded around 931 billion. You know, when I went in my constituency, they were asking me, they were sending me messages to say, chaka chino ndichoyamba kulandira fertilizer wa subsidy. Mukapita mukaonesa kuti fertilizer wa subsidy yo alimo mu budget. In English,
what did you just say? We can't hear you.
I'll put it, I was just quoting the way people were sending the messages. So
can you next time when you want to do that, ask permission?
Okay.
From the chair. Use the language, because that language will not be taken by the interpreters down below.
Okay, noted, our First Deputy Speaker. So I'll come again to that one, our First Deputy Speaker. When I was moving in the constituencies, when I was collecting information, our First Deputy Speaker, people send me the messages to see what is in the budget. One of them under Minister of Agriculture, I know you have been funded 931 billion. And people in my constituency, what they send me to see in this budget, there are three things. Number one is to see if the fertilizer subsidies is there. And let me take this advantage. The people of Katab Pamba, they appreciate for first time, almost 80% of the beneficiaries, they received fertilizer subsidy. And if you go to Katab Pamba, the harvest this year is promising. So people, they appreciate these interventions. Again, within the same 931, there is allocation to Minister of Agriculture, to ADMAC, 60 billion, and again to another 60 billion for purchasing maize, and there is 30 billion to support purchasing seed, maize seed. I know people in my constituency, they access this budget. It will trickle to my constituency. Again, under the same agriculture budget line, there is the honey livestock. Livestock has been supported or funded 450 million. In my constituency, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, we produce honey. Honey within the Ministry of Agriculture is under livestock. And if you look at honey in Malawi, the demand for honey is around 300 metric tons. As a country, we produce only 200 metric tons. Ngatabe and Luntha alone, they produce around 60% of honey which is produced in Malawi. For us to start exporting, our First Deputy Speaker, we need around 1,000 metric tons. With the budget, we are putting 450 to support livestock, and the beekeeping is there. I'm saying it's not enough. It's a high time now. We also diversify. I know our economy depends on agriculture, but within this agriculture, there are certain elements within there that are not fully supported. One of them is the beekeeping, the honey. If we are talking of industrialization, it's easy to process honey, it's easy to package honey, and it's easy, if we reach the export level, to export honey. Under the same budget line, there's development part 2. I'm glad to mention that people of Katab Pamba, they have been considered under development part 2 within the same agriculture. We have a project under trade. They are constructing where our First Deputy Speaker, we are referring to countries like the Republic of South Africa. It's a journey which we are taking part to get there. We don't want to end in Mozambique. We don't want to end in Zambia. We need to reach to Republic of South Africa. It takes this budget, the budget, to target key areas which can develop our economy. I should summarize at the end, our First Deputy Speaker. You know, when I was coming here, as I mentioned, at Pamba, I had a meeting with the different groups. One of the groups were the youth. So the youth, they sent me a message to say, go and check in the budget of Minister of Transport. You know, our road from Zuzu to Nkatabe is one of the roads which has got a high rate of accidents. Just because along the road, the grasses, for the last 2-3 years, these roads have not been cutting grasses along the road. So because of the, I'm trying to, the motorists, the motorist now is the common, this is the common mode of transport along the trading centers, along this Mzuzu Nkatabe road. So there is a high rate of accidents. So they have sent me to ask Minister of Transport to consider maintaining this road, focusing on cutting grasses along this road. Under Minister of Education, I know it has taken a round share of the budget, almost 9% of the budget. And the people of Nkatabe are glad that within
consider winding up.
Within the budget line of education, there is linked first amount of around 47 billion for free education. This is a good initiative. And we know that with this free education, with this money, we know that 3 secondary schools which are in my constituency, they will benefit. Our First Deputy Speaker, sir, people of Katab Pamba, people of Manolo, people of Ruazi, people of Mwambazi, they support this budget. I know there's one budget line which is in my constituency, there's Mausoleum. It's a project which started last year. and I've seen in the Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Sports, this budget line has not been funded, but people of Katab Pamba, they support this budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to first recognize, I already promised Zomba, Chingale, and Sanangei Central for now. Then immediately after the two, I will go to cluster number 6. Then we'll be alternating until we get, I see you in Katab South. I see you.
Thank you so much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, for according the people of Zomba Zachingali to also add a word to the budget that is under discussion. The people of Zomba Zachingali would like to agree with everybody else who feels that this budget is drafted to respond to the current situation that Malawians are experiencing. We all appreciate that the context as it stands now needs a budget that will be corrective and at the same time try to move us forward. And that's not an easy thing to do. The people of Zomba Zachingali appreciated, even those that are in opposition, that acknowledged that challenge we are experiencing now. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, you know, it's easier to edit a book than to write one. That must be appreciated. And that's why those that had some responsibility to critique the budget, they still had a tough time. But you see, an editor is an editor, can even mess up your book. So they also tried to edit, put in some words to try and fix areas that they think needs to be fixed. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, as a representative of the people of Zomba Zachingali, I'll focus on a few areas. I'll focus on transport, agriculture, education, mining, and also I have other elements that touch the Ministry of Local Government. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, on transport, you allow me to localize the elements because I'm talking on behalf of the people of Zachingali. We are the people that have been ignored for a long time. The Lilangwe Zachingali Machinga Road was tabled in this chamber in 2014. And at that particular time, government secured a loan for the road in 2019. From 2019 up to this day, we are talking of just 5 kilometers of the 62 kilometers that must be done. In my view, this is very unfortunate. The past 5 years, that road has been appearing in the budget, the past 5 years. But nothing has been done. We have solace, and I also comforted the people of Zomba Zachingali that now that it's DPP that is in government, the road will be done. I had serious consultation with the Minister of Finance, and he assured me the road will be done. And I'm looking forward that the remaining few kilometers will indeed be done. I'm standing here as a member of Parliament for Zomba Zachingali, but Mr. First Deputy Speaker, you know the last cohort I was in here, and I was a member of Parliament for Zomba Lisanjala. Zomba Lisanjala and Zomba Zachingali have been merged now to be Zomba Zachingali. The party that I was representing at that time had never seen a tarmac road, and up to now. has never seen a tarmac road. So I just hope that this time it will be done. You allow me, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, to now move on to agriculture. I was very comforted, and the people of Zomba Chingali were very excited when the president said the FISIP program will be reformed. We want to congratulate him for that. His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika is a president who listens and does what the people want. He's not a celebrity. He's not sitting there to just popularize himself. He's there to fix things. So when he said the program must be fixed, we, as people of Zomba Chingali, we want to celebrate him and call upon the Minister of Agriculture to implement that element. Why am I saying that? Mr. First Deputy Speaker, it wasn't easy for the voiceless, for the poor, to redeem their fertilizer, even when it is actually at a center where they can easily redeem their fertilizer. There was a lot of corruption. It was so difficult for people to manipulate. Like in Chingali, we had what were called vendors. They came and they were able to access the fertilizer, which was meant for the poor. So I'll be very happy and very excited if this program is reformed so that the people that we want to be reached are indeed reached. In Zomba Chingali, apart from the elements of corruption, we also had problems because the area is not easy to access, especially when it starts raining, like this time. I would like to, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, you have been invited to many places. Come to Zomba Chingali. You will not believe that it's part of Zomba. It's a hard-to-reach area. The fertilizer that we accessed was being delivered to the place using MDF vehicles. Malawi Defense Force, imagine. So when we sit here and begin to celebrate, and we see others asking for due courage, I weep. Yes, we're looking for due courage. In this budget, in this document, I've seen, let me get the document. In this document, we have roads for due courage. I'm saying we can slow down on that and help those that are struggling. We have women in my area that cannot get to a hospital because the road is too bad to the extent that even a motorbike cannot take them to the hospital. I'm not trying to say it's not good to have a due courage, but I think there must be priority in terms of trying to bail out those that are struggling terribly.
Leader, leader, order.
The nothing happened.
Leader, order.
The nothing happened.
Leader, order.
Leader. So the nothing happened.
Sorry, leader.
So have not and have. Yeah.
Sorry, leader.
Leader.
So I was actually saying, I wish the Minister of Finance was here, because I know DPP will deliver. Next financial year, let's seriously consider those that are terribly struggling faced. I feel sorry for the people of Zomba Chingali because MEC decided to make 2 constituencies that are struggling in terms of poverty. Zomba Lisanjala and Zomba Chingale, merging them. So instead of the area getting 10 billion as DPP wants, we'll be getting 5 billion. It's sad. I want also to make this appeal to the DPP government because it listens and I enjoy associating with the DPP government. I think we need to revisit this. Zomba Lisanjala must be Zomba Lisanjala and Zomba Chingale must be Zomba Chingale. This idea of merging the two, I know it was politically motivated and we want the DPP government to bail us out of that.
Correct.
This is what the people of Zomba Chingale asked me to clearly mention it in here. I'll now move on to education. I would like to congratulate
you have 2
government.
minutes. You have 2 minutes.
No, I was interrupted by the leader of opposition, leader of government, leader of the house. Please. So I need 2, 3, 4 minutes. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I'll be fast. I wanted to make just a comment on education. Congratulate the DPP government. Some people think it's simple to make a statement that people must go to school for free. This has bailed out a lot of children that were failing to access education. So undermining that is very unfortunate. I still wanted to encourage the DPP government to really continue with this element of free secondary education and also free primary education. I know the challenges that must be managed, but I think we are moving in the right direction. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, since you have warned me in terms of time, I just wanted to mention the elements of pension and gratuity. Congratulate the DPP government for seeing that that is a very critical, important area. The Minister of Finance is here, is sitting on a wrong seat, I think because of, I know it's because of the fact that you've been interrupted. I wanted to congratulate you, Mr. Finance Minister. The issue of pensions and graduate, they have been accumulating the past 5 years.
Yeah.
The MCP was in government.
Yes.
Please help us bail out the civil servants that have contributed a lot to the development of this country and are being punished for retiring. Thank you so much. We have seen that you have that in your budget. And if you will be able to get some more money, I want to encourage you to continue with that. And that will not inspire only those that have retired, but also those that are in the system. Because they know that when they retire, they will not be tortured. So thank you so much and continue with that. My last one and
These few remarks.
With these few remarks, I wanted also to encourage the Minister of Mining, to seriously look into the issues of the minerals that are harmful to individuals. I wanted to mention, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, that if you mine gold, there's a toxic mercury and cyanide poison. We need to protect our people. I know we are celebrating that they are making money, but at the same time, they are also putting a risk on their lives. We need to protect them, help them have a good gear when they are doing the mining, and we must also be mindful of the fact that government must also benefit from that. I wish I continued, but Mr. First Deputy Speaker, the floor is limited. Others must also take over and make their contribution. Thank you so much, but the people of Zachingali do sincerely and support this budget, and they know that they will have a stake in it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Sanangei Central.
Thank you so much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, for recognizing the people of Sanangei Central to contribute on the motion on the floor. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, to start with, I would like to express our gratitude for the food distribution exercise that is taking place in the Shire Valley. This time around last year, people were eating nyika, were struggling, were starving. But this time around, the government has come in. They are providing means for the people that are struggling, that have inadequate food. As the distribution is taking place, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I would like also to mention that there are some areas in the Shire Valley which are inaccessible. Places like Bwangu in my constituency in Sanangei Central, Nyanshiri, Macheka, and Misamvu, places like Ntondo, places like Rurwe, places like Chididi are struggling to get the food to their areas. It is my hope that the government will look into this and be able to provide the appropriate transport to move the food from Bangula to these places. Having said so, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, allow me to comment on the resources that have been made available in the budget for the road subsector. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, in the Shire Valley, we have one main road, and that is the Blantyre-Malacca M1 section. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, this road was heavily affected by the cyclone about 2-3 years ago. As I'm speaking to you today, the sections that were damaged have not yet been completely repaired. We still have a section just before the Kamzi Bridge, which has not been repaired. We still have a section at Inchalo, just after Elovo, which has not been repaired. We have so many other sections along this M1 road. For the last 2 years, they have not been worked on. I was looking with interest in the budget documents to see if we have provided resources for this section. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I would like to say that there are no resources to work on this section of the road. And I would like to, on behalf of the people of the Shire Valley, to ask for a consideration from the Minister that this road should be prioritized, worked on. Otherwise, if this road is damaged with the floods, as we're seeing that there are heavy rains, then we'll have no access into the Shire Valley. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I was also looking into the budget documents as to whether we have adequate resources for the Tabwa-Mona road. This is a very, very important road. As you may be aware, about 3 years ago, we lost a lot of people in Fatima because of the cyclone. And the rescue teams could not get to Moana because of the condition of the road. Up to this day, this road remains a very bad road. It is my hope that our minister also consider prioritizing this road. There's only about 300 million in this budget. This 300 million probably is not for any works. Probably it's for some studies. But we have been doing studies on this road for a number of years now. It is high time that we should see contractors on site working on this road. Otherwise, the people of the Shire Valley will feel like they have not been considered. We are grateful for the resources that have been made available for the Chikwawa-Chapananga road. There's 3 billion for that road. And the people of the Shire Valley were very thankful to the government. Hopefully, we'll see a contractor who is capable of doing the roadworks. Because sometimes we engage contractors that do not have capacity to do the projects. And in the end, we remain at the same level. It is my hope that come next year, we'll see some progress taking place on this road. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, allow me to comment on agriculture. Agriculture has been given a lot of resources. But for the people of the Shire Valley, we depend on livestock. Out of the 931 billion that has been provided for agriculture, the livestock sector has only been provided with 4.8 billion. This is a very small percentage of the total budget for the sector. It is my hope that as a government, we can put in more effort in livestock. Livestock has potential of contributing significantly to our economy. Some countries in Africa are exporting beef to Europe. Malawi can do the same. We should be able to raise enough for ourselves and for the export market. But only 4.8 billion, which is just about 50% of what was provided last year. Last year was 9.9 billion. It is not enough for the sector. This is the sector that is struggling. We're struggling with the diseases in this sector. Our farmers are not given extension services. We should be able to be deeping them, but that is not happening. It is my hope that, including providing a structured market for our livestock. Currently, we only have vendors, mostly, apart from a few big takers in this sector. We have vendors that come all the way from Luntha to the Shire Valley to buy our livestock, but at a price which is not for the good of the farmers. We need government to intervene to help our farmers so that we can benefit from the livestock. First Deputy Speaker, we also recognize the fact that government has put in about 236 billion for the Shire Valley irrigation project. This is a massive project. But we would like to request that as this project is being implemented, effort should be put on how do we target the local population in the Shire Valley. What is the benefit of this project to the local people? I know that Ilovo will benefit quite a lot, but as the people coming from the Shire Valley would want to see our farmers, our local farmers, also benefiting significantly on these resources. And therefore, I'm requesting the minister responsible for agriculture to ensure that the irrigation that's supposed to take place for smallholder farmers is prioritized. It should not be just the main canal and then the feeder canals to Ilovo fields. We're also grateful for the resources that have been made available to upgrade the Nchalo water supply project. There is 3 billion. Nchalo is our economy hub in the Shire Valley. Most of our people find employment at Nchalo through Ilovo. And providing adequate water supply is good for all of us in the Shire Valley. And therefore, we are very grateful to the government for these resources. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, allow me to say something about the energy sector. And I would like to talk about the support that we get, or the service that we're getting from ESCOM. A few months ago, there was in circulation in the social media a clip where live wires were left unattended for a long time in the East Bank. This also happened in my own constituency. We have lines that were damaged for 3 months. ESCOM could not be made available to take care of that damage. It is a worrisome situation when you have live wires not being attended to and threatening the lives of our own people. It is my hope that the appropriate action will be taken to improve on service delivery at ESCOM. Currently, the service delivery by ESCOM leaves a lot to be desired. We need to work on it. As a government, I know that the DPP-led government is good at making sure that they fix the challenges. ESCOM was destroyed. Yeah. When our colleagues got into government, they killed the power marketing company, which was meant to improve the efficiency of ESCOM. They killed it completely. It is my hope that the DPP-led government will ensure that the power marketing company is back to make sure that there is competition in this sector. If we can't improve in this sector, our people will struggle to get the services from ESCOM. It is not a healthy situation. As I'm speaking to you, I have people in Kanyimbi for 3 months that have had no power. Every time we talk to ESCOM, they will promise you to do something, but nothing happens. We can't keep on doing things this way. We need our rural people also to benefit from the use of the energy that is available in this country. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I would like to conclude by commenting on the CDF, the 5 billion. And I would like to thank His Excellency the State President for this vision. This is a wonderful vision. This vision will transform our constituencies. The people of Sanji Central are eagerly waiting for 1st April. We have big projects to implement. We have Panga Health Center that we want to construct. We have Pamba Community Secondary School that we want to construct. We have a full primary school in Mpasa, which was destroyed by a cyclone. We want to reconstruct. And many, many more other projects. But one thing that I would like to request the minister responsible is to ensure that we have the technical capacity at council level to support the implementation of these projects. If we cannot have the technical capacity, it will be very, very difficult to implement these projects. And the vision that we should have a full package is a wonderful vision, but that vision would require technical support from experts in the engineering sector. It is not just about getting a graduate, it is about getting people that are experienced, people that can provide designs for us, people that can work out the quantities that are required, people that can supervise the works. If we can't get those people, these projects will be a nightmare. It is my hope that everything possible will be done. It is my hope that if we cannot get personnel for the councils, we will have a provision to recruit consultants who will be working with us to support us implement these projects. Otherwise, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, on behalf of the people of Sanji Central, we fully support the budget. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Honourable members, we will allow now a cluster committee chairperson to come forward. We don't have much time for the debate on the budget. So because of that, even today's half break will be organized in a different way. So honourable members that feel half break obliged, please proceed. And allow me to invite the chairperson who is available and ready from the cluster committees to address us. Are you rising on a point of order, Honourable Minister? You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, First Deputy Speaker. And I know very well that the chairs are getting ready, but I wanted to appreciate the contribution as made by the Honourable Member of Nsanje Central and to assure him that the Minister of Finance has graciously given us resources, and I've got a newspaper in my hands where we have advertised for those important sectors at the top level. So I wanted, for your comfort and the comfort of everyone else, that the issue of capacities in councils, we're taking it seriously, and it's in the papers now. By 1st of April, those will be right in the councils, and it is okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that clarification coming from the. Let me recognize the education cluster. The education cluster. Deputy Leader, is that a point of order? Okay. Deputy Leader, we can see you. Welcome to Parliament. You are always here. So we like to see you here. Please. Thank you very much. Attend to other government businesses. Thank you. Welcome Mulanje West, the honorable member for Mulanje, not Mulanje West, Mulanje Southwest. Welcome, Honour Minister of Foreign Affairs. It's good to see you. It's good to see you, sir. Chair, Education, please proceed. Please proceed. Proceed to the podium, Chair. Education cluster. Chair, please proceed. You have 20 minutes, but if you do it 10 minutes, it will help the other chair on transport cluster who is also ready to take to the floor. Thank you. And the international relations, I'm told they are ready, so let's maximize the time so we can attend to these reports. Thank you.
Thank you so much. First Deputy Speaker, I am humbled to stand before this August House this afternoon to present a report of the Parliamentary Cluster number 5 of Education, Science and Technology. Upon considering and scrutinizing institutions that are contained in 2 votes in the 2026-2027 national budget, namely number 1, vote 250, Ministry of Education, and vote 275, subvented organization that includes Malawi National Examination Board, MANEB, Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana, National Council of Higher Education, J, National Commission for Science and Technology, NCST, Malawi University of Science and Technology, MAST, National Library Service, Higher Education Student Loans and Grants Board, Malawi Institute of Education, University of Malawi, UNIMA, Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, MUBAS, Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, Malawi College of Health Sciences, Malawi University Development Program, MUDEP, Mzuzu University, Mzun, and Teachers Council of Malawi. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, you may wish to note that your cluster on education, science and technology met controlling officers of various institutions in the education sector to discuss their budgetary allocations in the 2026-2027 proposed budget. Our nation's future hinges on the investment we make in these critical areas. And it is our duty to ensure that every resource is allocated judiciously. Allow me, therefore, to present the findings and recommendations as follows. Number 1, vote 250, Ministry of Education. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, In the 26-27 financial year, the ministry has been allocated 316.7 billion, representing a 3% increase from the revised allocation of 307.2 billion. In the 2026-2027 proposed budget, ORT has grown by 15%, while Development Part 2 is on a decreasing trend. Similarly, donor project funding is dwindling drastically, and it has dropped by 62% in the 2026-2027 proposed budget, paced at 43.7 billion from 180 billion in the 2025-2026 national budget. Recurrent expenditure is estimated at 128.8 billion, which represents a 17% increase from 109 billion in the 2023-2024 financial year. In this recurrent budget, PE has been allocated 136.3 billion against a revised budget of 143 billion in 2025-2028 financial year, representing a 3% reduction. Development budget Part 1 has been allocated 43.7 billion, which is a 52% decrease from the 90.6 billion allocated in 2025-2026 financial year, and Development Part 2 has been allocated 12 billion and 0.8, which is a 7% decrease from the 13.7 billion in the 25-26 financial year. Your cluster committee, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, noted a project implementation is very slow in some projects being under implementation for over 12 years, resulting in the project cost escalation multiple times. The projects affected include construction of Tumbwe Secondary School, which started in 2013, construction of Machinga Secondary School, which started in 2007, construction of science laboratories and libraries in the selected CDSS, which started in 2016, construction of primary school and rehabilitation of education facilities, which started in 2012, and construction of 34 secondary schools of excellence, which started in 2020 and expected to end in 2028 with total estimated cost of 120 billion. Your cluster, First Deputy Speaker, recommends that this project be funded to enable their completion, considering the importance and the duration they have remained uncompleted, to avoid further cost escalations. Number 2, vote 275 subvented organizations. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, let me take you through institutions in the education sector that subvented through vote 275. Malawi National Examination Board, MANEB. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, MANEB has a total budget allocation of 29.8 billion in the 2026-2027 financial year. In the budget, 27.8 billion is government subvention. 1.5 billion is the development fund, and 480 million would be generated through other revenues. This represents a 6.9% decrease from the revised budget 23 billion in the 2025-2026 financial year. The cluster committee noted that MANEB has a deficit of 7 billion, which would affect invigilation and supervision across all levels of examinations, security, and marking exercise. Your cluster, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, recommends that additional resources amounting to 7 billion be allocated to MANEB to enable it to conduct their core functions in terms of the examination expenses, i.e. security invigilation expenses. National Council for Higher Education, Chair. Mr. First Deputy Speaker and Chair has been allocated 2.2 billion subvention in the 2025-2026 financial year, and this represents a 10% increase in allocation from 2025-2026 revised estimated to 2 billion. 1.9 billion is a recurrent budget. Your cluster, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, noted that Chair requires an extra 770.6 million for it to effectively regulate the expanding higher education sector, safeguard the quality and the credibility of Malawi university qualifications, ensure transparency in the public university selection process, and support evidence-based policy planning. Your cluster, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, recommends that Treasury should consider allocating an extra to Chair amounting to 770.6 million to enable it to carry out its roles effectively. The National Commission for Science and Technology. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, the National Commission for Science and Technology has a total budget of 3.2 billion in the 2026-2027 financial year. This represents a 67% increase from the 2025-2026 revised budget allocation of 1.9 billion. The cluster noted that the personnel emoluments has been allocated 1.2 billion, ORT has been allocated 489 million, and the Science and Technology Fund has been allocated 1.5 billion. The cluster further noted that ORT amounts to 489 million has been allocated to administration services only, leaving out the following core National Commission for Science and Technology programs without budget allocation. Research and innovation, 221 million. Technology transfer and commercialization, 74 million. Knowledge management service, 53 million. Science planning, monitoring and evaluation, 91 million. Planning, monitoring and evaluation, 138 million. Information, communication and technology, 38 million. Financial management and audit services, 32 million. Human resource management, 41 million. The total of 1.5 billion. The cluster recommends that Treasury should consider allocating additional funds amounting to 1.5 billion to National Commission for Science and Technology to carry out its core functions. National Library Services. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the Malawi National Library Services has been allocated 1.895 billion in the 2026-2027 financial year, representing a 23% increase from the 2025-2026 revised estimate of 1.540 billion, and 60 million is development budget, and 1.131 billion is recurrent budget. Mr. Speaker, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, your cluster committee noted that NLS has a funding gap of 1.635 billion, and this gap comprises of the following: 350 million required for procurement of books, 60 million for migration of GMO 360, 200 million for building maintenance for, I beg your pardon, 200 million for building maintenance, 15 million for library outreach programs, 510 million for official vehicle for the National Library and the Deputy National Librarian, and 500 million for the book binding equipment, and 50 million for board expenses. Your cluster, First Deputy Speaker, recommends that Treasury should consider an upward revision on the NLS allocation of 1.635 billion for the procurement of books, migration of GMO 360, building maintenance, library outreach program, and for the book binding equipment. Higher Education Student Loans and Grant Board. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, the budgetary allocation for the Higher Education Student Loans and Grants Board in the 2026-2027 financial year is 48.2 billion. The budget includes 6.2 billion for ORT and 42 billion for the loan fund, and this is a 15.6% increase from the 2025-26 financial year, 41.7 billion, which had 5.7 billion for ORT and 36 billion for the loan fund. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, your cluster committee recommends that Treasury consider allocating additional resources amounting to 5 billion of the 13.9 billion required by the board to cater for Odell students, and also recommends that the board should be put much effort in loan correction to cater for the shortfall of 8.9 billion for the Odell students. The Malawi Institute of Education. The Malawi Institute of Education has been allocated a government subvention of 7 billion. 1 billion is for the construction of the training complex, and 6 billion is for recurrent expenditure in the 2025-2027 financial year. 6 billion is recurrent budget, 1 billion is capital budget. Your cluster, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, has noted that MIE has an ORT deficit of 1.5 billion for printing and distribution of teachers and learners' workbooks, orientation of curriculum implementers, and managers' development and the distribution of syllabus for the primary and secondary for developing teaching guide for TVET.
Chair, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Noted, Mr. First Deputy Speaker. Honorable Mr. First Deputy Speaker, your cluster committee recommends that the Treasury considers allocating additional resources amounting to 1.5 billion for printing and distribution of teachers and learners' workbooks and orientation of curriculum. The cluster also recommends that Treasury considers allocating additional 3.5 billion for the training center project. Allow me, First Deputy Speaker, to take you through the public universities. Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, the Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Rwanda, has been allocated a subvention of 50.790 billion in the 2026-2027 financial year. 17.109 billion is recurrent budget and 33.631 billion is for the higher education, while 50 million is for research valorization. The allocation represents a 4.5% increase from the revised allocation of 48.401 billion in the 2026-2025 financial year. Your cluster, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, noted that Luana requires an additional 4.2 billion to clear the creditors, additional 17.2 billion to pay services gratuity loan, the payment installments, and a shortfall of all development projects amounting to 10.2 billion. Your cluster, First Deputy Speaker, recommends that Treasury consider allocating additional resources amounting to 10 billion for aquaculture and fisheries project development. Malawi University of Science and Technology, MUST. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, MUST has been allocated a subvention of 29.69 billion in the 2026-2027 financial year. 10.6 billion is recurrent budget and 8.2 billion is capital budget. This represents a 19.6% increase from the revised allocation of 23.14 billion in the 2025-2026 financial year. Your cluster committee, First Deputy Speaker, noted that ORT funding is inadequate and covers staff salaries require increased subvention to fully cover staff salaries. Development funding allocation is inadequate and will thus derail completion time affect the university's operation. Your cluster committee noted that the university required an additional fund amounting to 48.8 billion to cover ORT and development projects, including the teaching hospital and the multi-purpose science laboratory. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, Education Cluster recommends the following: that Treasury considers allocating an additional resources amounting to 48.5 billion, which will cover ORT and development and other projects, and that the Treasury considers allocating 5.1 billion for the teaching hospitals and the multi-purpose laboratory completion. University of Malawi, UNIMA. First Deputy Speaker, UNIMA has been allocated a subvention of 42.406 billion. The budget includes 2.476 billion for the management and administration and 39.930 billion for higher education. This represents a 4.6% increase from 44.429 billion in the 2025-2026 financial year. And the cluster observed that UNIMA has the following shortfalls: 5 billion for salary deficit, 22 billion in arrears accrued in past 3 years from money owed to suppliers, pension, and the Malawi Revenue Authority. First Deputy Speaker, cluster number 5 also noted that the high student to lecture ratio necessitates additional funding for the university to recruit approximately 100 academic staff in the 2026-2027 financial year and 20 support staff. The university is failing to procure furniture for the prefabricated classrooms structures from China due to forex challenges. First Deputy Speaker, your cluster committee recommends that the Treasury considers allocating additional 5 billion for the salary deficit and 22 billion owed to suppliers. Mzuzu University. Mzuzu University has been allocated a subvention of 29.5 billion in the 2026-2027 financial year. This represents a 31.6% increase in allocation from the 2025-2026 revised estimate of 22.4 billion. The cluster noted that the university has the following deficits: 9.02 billion required for the completion of the construction of the library, 1.310 billion for auditorium construction, 3.6 billion for external works, and 4.4 billion for the books and equipment. While other costs are for the taxes and the project management. The university requires an additional allocation of 68.1 billion, which is required for a 100% completion of all its projects. Your cluster First Deputy Speaker recommends that Treasury should consider allocating an additional resource amounting to 2.4 billion for the completion of the library, which is at the center of learning and has overstayed, and 7.5 billion for the hostel completion. Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences. MUBAS has a total budget allocation of 82.3 billion. This represents a 9.8% increase from 74.9 billion in the 2025-2026 financial year. In this budget, 34.1 billion is for ORT, 11.6 billion is for the service gratuity, 7 billion is for development part 2, and they intend to generate 15.7 billion from tuition, and the 4.4 billion would come from other incomes, and research and projects would generate 9.4 billion. Your cluster First Deputy Speaker noted that the university requires 9.3 billion to cover the wage bill gap, which will be incurred with the double intake of the university, and which is going to start in September 2026. Your cluster First Deputy Speaker recommends that the Treasury should consider allocating additional 9.3 billion to MUBAS to cover for the wage bill gap to enable it cater for the double intake. Kamuzu University of Health Sciences. In the year 2026-2027 financial year, KUHES has been allocated 52.2 billion. This represents a 9.1% decrease in the year's expenditure. Your cluster noted that the university owes suppliers, services providers amounting to 6.6 billion, pension arrears amounting to 3.9 billion.
Chairperson, consider winding up.
Thank you so much, First Deputy Speaker. I think in winding up, I would go to Malawi University Development Program, MUDEF. First Deputy Speaker, this is where we are talking about the famous Mumbera University. In the year 2026-2027 financial year, MUDEP had been allocated a subvention of 495 million for ORT in the 2026-2027 financial year. They have been allocated a 14 billion as development budget in the 2026-2027 financial year. The cluster noted that MUDEP requires additional funds for the construction of the first phase of the School of Basic Science, which is expected to be completed in 12 months. Construction of this first phase of the project has been projected at 150 million. The cluster recommends that the additional resources based on the need be allocated to the completion of the first phase project once the 14 billion has been exhausted, projected at 35 billion. The Teachers Council of Malawi. In the 2026-2027 financial year, Teachers Council of Malawi budgeted for 6.7 billion, in which 1 billion will be internally generated. Government has allocated 1 billion through Ministry of Education. The cluster recommends that Treasury should create a vote for the Teachers Council of Malawi, as it is a parastatal created by an act of Parliament. It is also recommended that the Treasury should consider allocating additional funds amounting to 2 billion to enable it to get established. First Deputy Speaker, the future of our nation lies in the hands of our youth, and it is our responsibility to equip them with the knowledge, skills, and resources they need to strive. By addressing the identification funding gap and implementing the recommended measures, we can put the way for a brighter, more prosperous Malawi. I urge this honorable House to support the recommendations and work together to ensure that our education, science, and technology sector receives the attention and resources they deserve. Let us use this opportunity to invest in our nation's greatest assets, its people. Thank you for your attention, and may our collective efforts bear fruits for generations to come. With these few remarks, First Deputy Speaker, I hereby beg to move that the report be noted by the House. I thank you, First Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Chair, congratulations, you've done so well. I know you were given so many votes. Your cluster was given a lot of votes to deal with. While we now recognize the cluster on transport and public works to come forward. Honorable colleagues, while the chair is coming forward, allow me to make few housekeeping announcements. Honourable members, in the gallery this afternoon, we have a group a grouping from National Theatre Association, and their patron is our own Chirazulu Nyungwi constituency, who is in the house. Can I allow Honour Member for Chirazulu Nyungwi to rise? And our guests from the National Theatre Association, please rise so we can see you. Honour Members, a hand of applause to our executives from the National Theatre Association. The association, Honour Members, is in Lilongwe because they have a function in Zambia and they are going on a fundraising spree to get funds to support the association. Those of you and me that love theater, let's engage with them after adjourning the house today so that we understand better. Maybe they can do one or two outside so we can appreciate what good job they do. Congratulations, Chirazulu Nyungwi, for the job you're doing out there, and let's support you and your association. Thank you. Chair, you can proceed.
Thank you so much, First Deputy Speaker. Allow me to thank you for giving me and the people of my constituency, Zobatondwe, this opportunity to present the report of the Cluster Committee on Land, Transport, and the Public Infrastructure. First Deputy Speaker, allow me at the outset to sincerely thank the honourable members of this Cluster Committee for their dedication and constructive contributions during the deliberations with relevant ministries, departments, and agencies. Their commitment, First Deputy Speaker, ensured that the committee was able to thoroughly scrutinize the performance and budgetary provisions of the votes under our constellation. First Deputy Speaker, the Cluster Committees scrutinized the following votes. First was vote 130 under the Ministry of Lands, seconded by vote 274, Lord's Fund Administration, and then vote 400 under the Ministry of Transport and Public Works, and finally, the fourth, which is vote 420, Lords Authority. First Deputy Speaker, the committee carefully examined both the budget performance for the financial year and the proposed allocations for the 2026-2027 financial year. In doing so, the committee observed that while these institutions are central to the country's socio-economic transformation, they continue to face significant financial constraints, operational inefficiencies, and structural challenges that may undermine effective service delivery. First Deputy Speaker, allow me to highlight the key observations and recommendations under each of the votes. First, vote 130 under the Ministry of Lands. First Deputy Speaker, the committee noted that the ministry's budget for the 2025-2026 financial year was...
Luntha Vision stands as an autonomous faith-based broadcaster with a national and international reach. Experience the difference with Luntha Vision.